Okay, so while the Capri is at the body shop, whilst I'm waiting on the next step, I might as well get on with a wee bit of the engine work. I can't really remember if I've went through too much of the plans for the engine. I probably have, but for those that need an update or for those that haven't seen it, the engine is a 2.9 Cosworth. It's a BOA BOB hybrid. It has a BOB bottom end in it with BOA heads and timing cover. The advantage of doing that is you use the BOA timing gear and the BOA water pump, because you can't get BOB water pumps. You have to get a BOA one welded up and modified. I am going to be running Audi R8 coil packs. These are genuine ones. Got second hand to mock fit. If they work, I'll leave them. If not, I'll buy new ones. They were cheap on eBay, so why not? I'm using Bosch 550 genuine injectors as well. They are only half height compared to a standard injector, so you have to buy these wee top hat things to space them up a wee bit, basically. And I had bought these plug adapters to change them from an EV1 plug, which is on a standard Cosworth injector plug, to an EV6. However, things have evolved slightly since then, and I have since made the decision to completely rewire the engine loom. Basically because to add coil on plug, there's a lot more wiring needed, and I have a few other bits and pieces I want to incorporate in as well. I have a couple of oil pressure sensors, fuel pressure sensors. The coil on plug has to go in. I want to change all these to EV6 plugs as well on the injectors, so they don't have adapters. Just gives me a bit more room in underneath the fuel rail. You can see, maybe you can't see, but it's quite tight in there to get a plug on with the big adapter on. A few other bits and pieces I have to do to the engine. Obviously it needs cleaned. Look at the actual state of that. So it's all going to need cleaned down, painted. The water hose that goes up in underneath the head, I have a silicone version waiting to go on. So I need to take that out somehow if it'll play ball and change that. There's not really much else I need to do. I need to work out what way I'm going to work the breather system. So I'm now, instead of this filter, I'm now running a catch can. I bought this off a friend of mine, Nick, a few years ago. I never actually used it. So I have a nice shiny red Mogul catch can to go in. So I need to work out how I'm plumbing that, whether or not I'm welting fittings on, running AN lines, or just push on hose. I don't really know just yet. The sump was a wee bit leaky on this engine as well, so I will need to drain the oil out of the engine and take the sump off to reseal anyway. So while I have that oil all out of it and I'm in painting mode, I'm going to take the timing covers off, get them painted or powder coated. Basically just take the engine back to bare bones and start, apart from taking internals apart, just start and tart it up really, for everything else is shiny, so I need to get this shiny as well. This is a first prototype of the filler cap. It's a 3D printed insert, so that it actually clears the coil pack. So I need to make that in a more, that's only sitting there. I need to make that in a more durable material. That's only PLA. So I'll make that so that it can't warp out of ABS or something and stick it in. Hopefully it should do the job. First of all though, this is the after effect, shall we call it, the fallout of a 12:30, 1 o'clock session at the last red Mark II Escort. So this will all have to be tidied up first of all. I can't work through this. This was all through onto the bench at 12:30 just to get me home. So that'll be first, then the next time you see it, it should be tidy, and we'll start onto this. Bit better looking until look at the top of the toolbox. I have too many tools. Time to get this sorted. Okay, so first things first is to try and drain the oil out of this thing. It's going to be a bit gloopy, I would say, because obviously I can't warm the engine up, so it might take a wee while. So we'll start it off anyway. while that's doing it, I might as well make a start on taking these valve covers off. I want to get them stripped back and painted, and I suppose as well, just for my own peace of mind, I'll check that it's all still timed up. I'll check the state of the guides and stuff that I can see down through the front sections of the head here where the chain goes. First things first, take these coil packs back up out. You can see they're actually quite a snug fit, and I really don't think they're going to need bracketry as such to hold them in. Like, it's quite a struggle to pull them up out. However, I don't like the big surrounds, the holes. So I think the plan of attack is, I already have drawn this out in CAD, so I think I'm going to print that out, or if I can find somebody to cut me some with a CNC in aluminium with the hole centers and the bolt holes and stuff all in it. I'll do some in either alloy or stainless. I would 3D print them, but I really don't think 3D printing is going to withstand the temperatures that would be required for this. I think they just all go wavy and it flex really. So it'll be like the vacuum forming machine at school. First, this one's still got oil in it, so the gasket must be going on the spark plug hole. Only one of them though, so that's a good thing. And see, those guys are actually not too bad. Same on that side, thankfully. Everything looks good so far. Need to make sure I get all the silicone sealer off, because if you don't, it gets down into the engine. As I found from previous experience, it blocks the oil pickup, which then does the big end bearings, and you're into a rebuild, which isn't cheap on a BOA. So I will get these here stripped back of all the sealant so it doesn't drop off and fall down. Overall, everything looks good, thankfully. Okay, so the next task is to replace this rubber hose with the nice new silicone version. While I have the engine out on a stand, it makes sense to do it because I don't really fancy trying to do this with the engine in. So I'll probably set you down for this, to be fair. But we'll give it a go. One hose actually came out very handily. Was not expecting that in the slightest. Give the new hose a bit of a coat of WD just to see if it helps it come up in. And insert rude jokes there. Right, I think that's us finally. Okay, so things have progressed slightly. Before I start taking the sump and everything off and painting it, I wanted to make sure everything fitted, and to do that I need to get the turbos on to get the piping sorted. I need to get the turbo oil returns pipe back into the sump. Thankfully, whenever I got the engine built, there was 2 takeoffs on the sump already put on. I just blocked them off with a bit of pipe and a bolt to get me away. But I'm going to need to do these nicely now with a bit of hose up onto said turbo oil return. The turbo is going to be water cooled as well, so water in and out the sides and oil in the top. So I've all that plumbing to do yet as well. As I said, just in case I need to drill into the sump or modify anything, I didn't want to paint it first and then realise after I painted it that I needed to make modifications. So I get all the plumbing done. I have AN fittings by the bucket load and braided hose here to go on to the water and oil fittings. I have my 3-way splitter down here already on for the oil feed. So we're getting there. That'll probably be the next bit then, the plumbing. So yeah, stay tuned. Well then, got a bit of delivery this afternoon from Emerald. This is going to be fun. How hard could it be, said I. There's only 36 pins, said I. But suddenly whenever you see the amount of different wires, color codes, connectors, suddenly seems a lot more daunting. Got all this lot here to play with as well. So yeah, look forward to that in an episode or two's time, a full wiring job. I decided to redo the whole wiring because I'm no longer using the standard Ford coil pack. This used to sit here somewhere, but I don't like it. It was ugly. I'm going for these coil pack or RDR8 coil packs instead, so I will just redo the whole loom while I'm at it, because it was going to be a whole cutting match to try and add extra wires and remove wires that aren't needed and swap everything about. So just decided while I'm at it, do the whole lot. I have my old loom here to compare. So I'll be fit to pin everything out hopefully, and at least get a rough length for the connectors to stay the same, such as the injectors and stuff. So once they're all laid out, I'm going to try and somehow pin it out on something or other and draw it out, pin them so that they can't move. So that's just a matter of me running the new wires whenever I lift that loom off. A few more bits and pieces have been at. The actuator for the turbo, and because I removed the old actuator, where was it? It was on here on a bracket, which is no use to man or beast anymore because the actuator's over here, bracket's here. So fits over a top bus, give me a couple of universal-ish brackets that can be made to fit. So where's the other one? They don't fit perfectly, they're for a different turbo I believe, but I've modified this one to suit. So it now has what hopefully should be a working actuator. I've ordered the banjo fittings for this to get the oil feed to it and have the oil or the water stuff there to start doing this. So that might be next. Yeah, lots going on. All waiting for the Xpack to be coming back from the body shop to fit this puppy into. Okay, so on a boa, you can just about see it up in here, where it's at. There is usually a wee stopper bung in there on both sides, and that's where I need to feed to the oil or the water circuit for the turbos. Can't really do that at the moment because I forgot to buy clips to tighten it onto the hose, so I have those ordered and they're hopefully winging their way towards me. The oil is going to be something similar. I have the multi-fitting on over here, so this is going to be feed one turbo, this will feed the other turbo, this will feed a pressure gauge. I've went for the VDO oil pressure sensor, so that'll feed that and feed it back towards my dashboard hopefully. There's the water fitting on this side as well, so it's handy that I have them on both sides so you don't have to start running them across the engine. I'll probably run it from that to, I can't remember if you have to run it to the inside or outside of the turbo, whichever side you have to run it to, then out of the far side and back into the radiator. I will maybe get a couple of wee bosses welded into the aluminium radiator and do it properly, instead of JB welding it in like some people I know, Jordan. Yeah, I'm fairly happy with how it's coming on. The wastegate brackets are now both fixed properly, preload and all set on them, and the clips on, so that's another one job ticked off the list thankfully. I started into degreasing. The engine's a bit cleaner as you can see, a bit dirtier on the floor too, but it's a bit cleaner. So I will get I've ordered 5 litres of brake clean and a pressurized spray can. So I'll get the rest of it all blasted down wherever that arrives at the start of the week. I think that might do me for this bit of a brief episode. Just really the ramblings of what I've been at while the Xpack's in for paint. I've since got this car here running. It's running 2 litres D-Tech, the one that's in my Escort video at the start. So it's now running on the button thankfully. Just need to tidy up the wiring on it. Speaking of wiring, you saw that mess earlier on. I'm going to wait until a few other bits and pieces arrive and then tackle it probably at some point soon. Probably, well I don't know, it might be after the Xpack comes back, but we'll see. As per usual, you know what I'm going to say now. If you like what you're seeing, hit the subscribe button, give us a like. Let us know what you like or don't like in the comments below. Or if you have any questions you want to ask me, I still haven't got around to doing this question and answer video yet. So, yeah, I think this here should look pretty mean. An engine bay of a Capri. It's like something you'd see in one of those American drag boats currently. But anyway, that'll do me. Have fun. Bye.